The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Hey folks, P. Basardo here, and you're listening to the Smoke Free Radio Network.
Not only is he my bail bondsman,
Thanks. Everybody say hello to Mr.
The actual only third way in our country right now.
I'm going to try to actually talk a little bit and maybe not get
some videos. And you know, like the ones a lot of the ones that really
fighting. I mean, in their mind, they're revolutionary, force, right? And I mean, obviously, to get rid of Stan.
It's crazy to me, and I feel like Big Tobacco's sitting there laughing. They're like, "This is
right." I don't claim to know a lot of stuff when it comes to advocacy. I don't really.
They're calling this an epidemic. We're in the middle of the third wave of...
Such as VSFA, such as Fig Ramsey.
Oh, wow. It's like that.
With any issue, right? Everybody has their preconceived bias, and anything you throw at them might move them a little bit, but they're going to be anchored.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Vaping and the Mic. I'm Mike Peterson. It has been a little bit of time since I have been out and back in the seat and in behind the microphone, but tonight we have somebody that is going to show you how to get things done. I mean, everybody has been hearing about things that's going on. They've been watching her and made a huge announcement at the United Vapors Alliance rally in the Ellipse, downtown Washington, D.C., right in front of the White House. And we're going to talk to her about that, but I've got some other questions that I really want to dig into with her. But if you would, please, this evening's guest, if you would welcome Schell Hammel. Schell, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's always a blast to have you here to be able to talk to you and say, hey, see what's going on. I'll tell you what.
There's always something going on these days, isn't there?
There is continuously something going on. There is no doubt about that. In front of a few thousand people, out of the blue for all of the rest of us, I'm sure it has been on your mind for quite a while, you announced that you're going to run for Congress in 2020.
I did.
What brought that on?
Well, what didn't bring that on? You know what? An empty seat came up. I mean, I know that all of us know that when you run against an incumbent, it's much more difficult. But I mean, I know Pete Olson, have spoken to him on the Hill several times about vaping. As a matter of fact, I have some pictures that are kind of funny where he made me sit at his desk and bang his gavel. I think all of the members probably remember that because there was a group of us behind him. Mm-hmm. But frankly, the seat becoming open, number one. Number two, that I have walked the hills of, walked the halls of the Hill, walked the halls of the state capitol. I've seen it from this side, and I'm pushing, and I'm passionate about other things as well. And I thought if there's any time, it's now. And frankly, we need it. I mean, in a lot of areas, but it was time. It was time for me.
And it was, to me, I want to say a natural progression for watching as you have been going along, and it has turned into you going from, and I kind of put it out there with people, you've gone from, you stopped and you went to vaping and you opened a store and you became an advocate and you became a stronger advocate and you moved on to several platforms. So to me, it's like a natural progression of what you're doing. And
it kind of felt like that.
And yet I'm stunned. How do you layer all of that into who you are and what you're doing? You're a store owner, you're a shop owner, you're running e-liquids, you are a mom, you're a wife. I mean, you are on several different boards of advocacy. Oh my God. You just really, And here you are, and yet I can't think of a better person to do this.
I'm hyper.
You're tenacious, and when you go and attack something, you don't let go.
Generally not. It's a curse, I think. You know, I talk to a lot of these legislators, and I go into their offices, and I've said this before, but I think I don't think it resonates as much, but it's true when I go in, whether it's a vaping bill or what have you, and I talk to them about the bill. I kid you not, a lot of them don't understand what's in the bill, or they have a way of looking at it from one side, whether it's our issue or other issues, and their view is very, very narrow. And I want to see it from both sides, and on all issues, I want to see it from both sides, and I think that's very important. And I think that legislators get stuck, and I know it's hard. I know that they have tons of bills that come across their desk, and I know they rely on their staff members, but seeing it from that side was very important, and that was the biggest driver. Is the whole "we the people" thing has gotten so lost in so many different areas that I don't even know who the people are anymore. And so I really, it is so important to me I've been on every platform as far as life goes, sat as a single mom and prayed that they didn't cut my electricity off, to, eating in fine restaurants. It goes from one to the other, but I've seen it from all perspectives, and it's not any easier to swallow some of these from any perspective.
I would agree. There's something that I want to show people. I'm going to show them your website, okay? Because there are a couple of things before I even get anywhere near that. I know in the back of some people's mind, you're going to Congress as a vapor. And I would agree that encompasses a lot of drive, a lot of passion. But I'm going to tell people, folks, this lady is not a one-trick pony. And I'm going to show you something. On your website, you actually have listed, and again, her website, you want to go and take a look at it, is voteschell.com. But on your website, you actually listed the issues that you're going to be talking about, the issues that you're going to be fighting. And these are not tiny caliber issues. These are the issues that the entire nation is trying to work on and address.
Right. There's more, too. There's more other than that that's on that website. We just narrowed it down.
Yeah, but these are amazing. And I'm looking at this, and I'm showing people your site right now. On immigration, border security, merit-based immigration, sanctuary cities, she talks about fiscal conservatism. And there is actually reducing government spending, reducing eliminate business regulation, reduce and eliminate taxes. This is far and above and beyond anything that you could think of about vaping. But then she gets into the Second Amendment items. Now, I'm going to ask you, and again, because you've already mentioned it, you are a huge advocate when it comes to people's personal rights and personal freedoms.
That's right.
And I've noticed that in watching some of the things that you do and being able to talk to you, it's like this is a lady that you don't really want to screw around with. And I'm not saying that just because you're sitting here. I've watched you do things and the way that you post and the way that other people reflect on. It's like there's a lot of tenacity that's right there that she'll run you over. But you get into your Second Amendment things. The biggest one that I'm looking at, I can't even say the biggest, red flag laws, school shooting protections, assault weapons, enhanced weapons penalties, penalties for negligent storage of weapons. I saw that, Schell, and I'm like, finally, somebody is doing something. I was amazed. I was amazed.
Or at least want to.
You know, well,
at least want to.
You're telling people, I'm going to work on this, and we're going to hold people accountable. They want to own the weapon. You've got to be accountable for that weapon. And if something happens with that weapon,
you should be held accountable,
folks?
Absolutely.
And just to remind people this evening, if you want to call in and talk to Schell, the phone lines are actually up, open, and running. Please feel free. It's 215-383-5752. When you hear the British lady talking, please press 1, and it'll put you on the queue. And then I will be able to see it over here on my laptop, which is on the side. But then we'll be able to connect you live with Schell. You'll be able to ask her questions. Again, 215-383-5752. Give a call and ask her what you've got on her mind. I want to backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Was it anywhere in your imagination when you started vaping that you would get into owning your own stores? Or was it just you started vaping and it was a progression?
Well, no. It was when my aunt, she had smoked. Now, I had already transitioned my dad, and of course I had transitioned myself. But it was when my aunt, who had smoked for 52 years, and seriously, the woman was like, I'm going to die smoking. You know, don't talk to me about smoking. You know, she was just I'm not hearing you. It's not going to happen. And when she laid him down and started vaping, I was like, oh, it totally blew my mind. And I said, this is the answer to the tobacco problem. I'm going to open a store. And I swear it took me like a year and a half to convince my family that this was the thing to do, because they thought I had lost my mind.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Because they weren't around then. There was only one store I knew of in the entire state of Texas. So they were nowhere around. And I'm no kidding. When we opened the doors, people would come in. They would come in and they would walk in and go, what is this place? And we would tell them. And then their next answer was, you're going to be shut down in like 6 months. And I was like, you need to go. You need to go.
Yep.
And it was a tough.
I lost your audio.
Yeah, no, you lost my audio because my kid is yelling. So I was.
That's okay.
I was quiet. That whole mother at night, we're getting ready for football. So anyway, after that, it was kind of one of those issues where we tried to make it work, and it worked, and then it went crazy like you've seen it.
And that's one of the biggest things. It just, and I ask that because I want people, they're going to hear a lot as you begin to go forward into a campaign mode, if I can put it that way.
Right.
But I want people to get to know you, because I really don't believe that that's going to come out in a campaign. It can, but you're so focused on different issues and trying to show people, here's what I'm thinking, here's what we're going to do. So I'm one of those people. I want to step back, and I want the people that are watching or going to listen on the podcast later on or check it out later, I want them to get to know you. How many stores did you go from one into how many at your largest point?
I had 8. So 8 was the largest point. And I remember at the 5th one, I kind of stopped and went, how did I get here? It was like a realization, because I think you just get into go, and then all of a sudden you go, whoa, how did this happen? But then we had built the infrastructure within the lab and the shops to handle the DFW area. So I decided, well, I would open in West Virginia and Virginia and just kind of spread out into other states. I have since then closed those stores, but the majority of the Texas ones are still open.
But it's important that people can see that. This is not, See, now I'm going to joke for a minute, but there's actually some truth behind that. This is not your stereotypical soccer mom. And I say that so many times when I reference people, and especially females, in the anti-vaping Kentucky Fried Chicken group and things like this. You know, I call them soccer
moms. And both
moms.
my boys are soccer boys.
See,
so
and that's the thing. Because I need people to understand. I'm saying this tongue-in-cheek with her because it's true. She's a soccer mom.
Nope. It is true. I just finished a high school soccer game where he's the high school goalie, and then my older son was too. So since like 4 to senior year.
And it's ironic because you're a busy mom. You are busy with your family. You are busy running a multi-layered company for the vaping industry. Okay, and I point that out to people because you have to understand, in order in our industry to grow your store from 1 to 8, it doesn't happen by luck. It doesn't happen because somebody waved a magic wand. It's because somebody knows what they are doing in their business. So when you talk about this lady understands business, guess what, folks? She does. She knows it.
I do. Yeah.
So,
and I think the most important thing that I learned along the way with my businesses is, well, number one, customer service. We were always very high on customer service. And I don't know if y'all remember, but there for a while, there was, everybody wanted to come into our stores and the customer service wasn't so great. And so we were always very high on customer service.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part was having my background in business development in the hospitals, in the medical field. That really helped with building the infrastructure and understanding business from that aspect as well. And the fact that I know no matter what, if I have a lab person go down or whatever, I know how to do that job. I've done every single job in my company from ground level up. So, and I think that's important because I think that you gain a lot of respect for those individuals and you know exactly what they're going through.
We're going to take a second here because I'm looking over here at the other side. There is somebody that is calling in. Now, it has been a while, folks, so bear with me. We'll see if I can make this actually happen. Area code 820, you are live on the air with Schell Hammel. Are you there?
Hello, you wackadoodles.
Hello?
Hello, you wackadoodles. David Gerlitz here.
Of course it is! Hi!
Hello, how are you?
I miss your face.
I know. I miss your faces too. I took a little sabbatical for a little bit, and I think you all know why.
Yes.
But I just wanted to call in and tell you that I miss you guys. And I don't know if I'm reverbing on this damn phone, but let me check something here.
No, you're coming through fine on this end.
You're good.
Okay, because I was getting my own reverb back here. But, yeah, it's so nice to talk to you, Schell. And I've been out of touch for a few months. I lost my wife 2.5 months ago, and I'm still bouncing off the walls, trying to find a new normal. And it was a real shock. But I'm getting back into the saddle, and I'm trying to get myself through this year and, kind of write it off because I'm the sick one. And, with everything that I've been doing in the tobacco business for the last 35 years came to bite me in the ass pretty much with COPD and emphysema. And now I'm looking at a double lung transplant probably in the spring. I'm going through Temple Lung Center now. But, I've been following pretty much everything that's been going on. I haven't been out of the loop totally. I just had to concentrate on my health and my family and getting us through this horrible blindsided of her sudden death back in the August. So I hope people can forgive me for just dropping out of sight, but I had pretty good reasons, and it's something that I have to do to fight my way back into this stream of things, because I'm still as passionate as I ever was, and even more angry and frustrated for you all right now. But I wanted to congratulate you on you entering into the congressional race, and you know I love you, and but do expect to be hearing from me in the next few weeks on something that's really big happening for me, and I'll be happy to share it with you guys probably in a week or so, but just look forward to it.
God bless you, David. My prayers are with you, really, on everything that you're going through, and thank you so much for all the support. And I do miss your face, really.
I know, and I miss all you guys too. But you know what? At some point, I saw something today that made me feel really, really good to see all the wonderful things that happened at the rally, which I would have loved to have gone, a couple weeks ago. Would have loved to have been there, but I can't be out in the cold weather right now. I'm having gene therapy. I'm having things going on at Temple Lung Center that I'm scared to death of the winter, the cold, because of the constriction of the lungs. But everything's looking good. I'm in a research program that's going to keep me doing my due diligence so I can be the strong one in the family now, since my wife is gone, and I got a big brood. I got 3 kids. I got 8 grandkids and 2 great-grandkids that are counting on me. So I am looking for the new normal, whatever that is down the road, but I know I have lots of support and friends from the vaping industry and outside the vaping industry as well, from other parts of the world. So you just have to keep talking, Schell, and you got to keep me pumped up. Okay. So maybe a private conversation that you and I can have down, and I can help you in any way if I can. Michael, same with you. If I can do your show in the next couple of weeks to bring you up to speed on what's happening with me and some of my projects that are coming to fruition soon, I'd love to do that, guys.
Oh, I would love to be able to do another show with you. David, just so you know, there's a lot of people in the chat room on both Facebook and YouTube that are saying it's great to hear your voice again.
Well, August 23rd came and went like I got hit by a truck, and it's, like I said, I was a sick one. She's the rock in the family, and then to have this all of a sudden, where we had no preparation at all, and she wasn't even sick. 5 years ago, she had a brain tumor, but she breezed through that because it was benign, and she was back to work in 3 months, and everything was fine. But she had, I don't know if you remember, but it was last year I went down to. I think it was Chattanooga, and I had a blood clot in my leg, so they had me in constricted stockings so it wouldn't move. And unfortunately, that's what took my wife. She had a blood clot, and it was a pulmonary embolism that hit her lung. And I know a lot about lungs now because I'm going through my own lung therapy, and I've been researching a lot of it. Obviously, she was a never smoker, so hers was nothing to do with anything. So that's even making me more pissed off and angry that vaping is such a wonderful alternative for people who can avoid some of these horrible things that can happen anyway without the exacerbation of a disease caused by smoking. So I'm going to come back with a vengeance. I'm going to come back totally free and spirited enough to do what I can do to help. Schell, you do what you have to do in Texas. If I can help in any way, Mike, I'm going to get back into my podcast hopefully real soon, but just know that I am back. Not 100% yet, but I'm back, and I'll be able to work from my home through the winter because I can't go outside in the cold too much. But we'll talk about that at some other point. I don't want to take away Schell's time. I just wanted to tell you I love you both, and keep looking for me because I am coming back.
We love you too. We're here for you.
Absolutely, David.
Thank
Definitely my love coming out to you.
I'm just going to listen to the show. You just talk to Schell and get people calling in and let her pump people up like she's always done with me. She's one of the first people that supported me and stood shoulder to shoulder with me, and I appreciate you, Schell. Love you, appreciate you, and I'll help any way I can, okay?
Mwah. I love you too. See you soon.
Love you, David.
Good night, guys. Let me go. All right, bye-bye.
Awesome.
He's such a character. God bless him.
Awesome to hear from him. That's the first I've heard his voice. I've chatted with him. I knew things were going on with him, and I've kind of kept up. But that's the first I've heard his voice in a while, since everything kind of fell apart. Since we are doing phone calls, believe it or not, there is another phone call that is coming in. This one is area code 614. 614, you're live on the air with Schell Hammel. Are you there?
Hello. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing good. Tell me your first name.
No, it's Paul from Australia. How are you, Schell?
Paul Blameyer.
Hi, Paul.
How are you doing this evening?
Quite well. It's still afternoon time here in Australia, but yeah, great to hear Dave's voice.
Yeah, that one really
And-
took me by surprise, being able to hear David's voice. Haven't heard that for a while.
Right.
Well, between myself, Kevin Crowley, and David Gurwitz, we're getting the band back together again.
Yay!
That's fantastic. You guys need to get that blog rolling back all over again.
Hell yeah. But be ready for some trucks and buses and tanks to roll over people.
I like it.
So tell me, what kind of questions you have for Schell this evening?
I've been a big fan of yourself for quite some time, all the way here in Australia.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Tell the worldwide vaping community what you're going to do for us.
I'm going to fight like hell, like I have been all this time. and I usually don't back down. But it's so much easier, I think, when you're on the inside rather than when you're on the outside. And I think that I can educate. I do very well with building relationships. I think that's a strong suit of mine and a strong talent. And I think that as long as I get in there, I think I can build those relationships and feed them full of all kinds of education. They will just be overflowing with science and data, and I love that.
Well, the best thing is that you've got fans here in Australia, so just make sure that you look after us as well.
I will. I'm going to go there one day. I'm telling you, that is on my bucket list.
Oh, dear God.
Is that bad? A Schell Texan in Australia. Katie, bar the door.
Well, that'll be fun if you come down here. You're more than welcome to hang out, have a beer, and barbecue with us. Not a
I would
problem.
love that. Oh, all right. Well, I'm booking my ticket right now.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Schell. You guys
Thank
are great.
you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things. Putting my health back on the right kind of side of things, and it's time to fire Vaping and the mic back up to where we were at before. Because I'm not done interviewing people. Paul, I'm glad that you called this evening. Good to hear your voice.
And David, we've got some trucks to deal with. He's in the chat now.
Yeah, there's some things that are going on in the chat. Yep, David says, love you. Bruni Saint said Schell deserves a seat in Congress, maybe the candy draw, so she can tell ants they aren't allowed to like flavors.
Exactly. Or
Oh, hell
Lucky
yeah.
Charms
Bernie-
or any of that other stuff.
Bruni's the thunder from down under.
There you go. Paul, if you've got another question, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to let you go because there's actually another phone call coming in here on the phone lines.
All right. Enjoy, guys. Peace out. Big love.
Bye,
Schell.
Paul. Thank you.
Good to hear from you, Paul, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Put you on another show.
All right. Cheers.
Take care. Nope, the person that was on the phones, I accidentally dropped them. My apology.
Oh.
Yes, if that person would call back in, I am so sorry. It has
I'm
been.
pouting for you.
It's been forever since I've run the phone line. So tonight it's like. Tonight we are on YouTube Live, we are on Facebook Live, we are on Twitter via Periscope, and we have the phone
I would
lines
have dropped
that are running.
them all, Mike. You're doing great. I would have dropped them all.
I'll tell you what. But this evening, again, if you were on the phones while Paul was on the phone, please call back. I'd love to get you in touch with Schell. It is one of those things. There we are. Now I'll press the right button, I swear. Area code 250.
Hello, Michael?
Yes.
Hi, Schell.
Hi.
Who's this?
Hi, Bill Tarling here.
Hi, Bill.
I just want to throw a comment to Schell here. Now that I've completely confused and baffled everybody. Now, we all know that, sure, we have a couple of people in legislation that have vaped. Some people know a little bit about it, some support it, some aren't sure. I want people to understand what it would mean if Schell got in to actually have somebody who is not only pro-vaping, but actually understands it. In other words, present the true facts. And I don't think people quite grasp the importance of that. So I want to get Schell's opinion of that.
I think it's imperative. I mean, as Mike kind of talked about the natural progression of things, I want to talk about really the fact that we haven't had anybody in our industry that, as far as a leader or inside the industry or knows how it works. I mean, actually knows how to go into the lab and make e-liquid. You know, we haven't had anybody in there to talk about those things and all of the laws and the taxes and what they do to keep smokers from walking in those stores and becoming vapors and switching and actually touching people inside their homes with their children and their grandchildren. We're changing things that are happening in the households, and the implication of that is huge. It's huge. You've got, you know, children that used to sit there and watch their parents smoke, and they always say, well, you know, because they were a smoker, they're going to become a smoker, and they were around that. We're changing the direction of this, and we're changing lives. We're changing health. We're changing all kinds of things, and I don't think they understand the gravity of the situation, especially right now when you have the media pushing back on us on something that's not even our industry, and they're pushing people to smoking. Just that, and that's one issue. There's 7,000 others. So I think it's very important for someone to be in there to go, whoa, you got this all wrong. Hold on, and really go, look at this, and all of those individuals that are telling you this, show me that data. When you can show me that data, then we'll talk. And I think it's important.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one of the most important things for people to realize is it would finally give us somebody in there, as soon as they bring up something from the fake anti-vaping claims and everything else, to actually have somebody right in there who can go, actually, here are the real facts on it. It's not just, here's what we've been handed as a pamphlet, or here's what we've been told, or here's what I read about. We would actually have somebody right there on the spot who can go, do you realize you're being duped?
Right.
And I think it's absolutely critical to have somebody like you elected in there.
I pray that we have more that come around behind me. I'll be honest with you. It shouldn't be just one. I'm hoping that we have several. But I agree with you, Bill. If it's not me, anybody that understands it and can really, you know, argue that chatter with science and argue that chatter with actual data, that's huge. And, you know, I really think that every single time we walk into a legislator's office that we'll give them all this information, but how many times do they read it? You know?
So we'll get you in there. We'll get Mike running for Congress in Ohio. We'll get Dimitri for Tennessee. We'll get
James for Ohio.
We'll
just stack them up.
Can you imagine if somehow a whole bunch of the advocates or the people who followed the whole industry right along, a few of them actually got in, so it's not just one voice, but suddenly we have voices right across that can say, wait a minute, what you're saying about this vaping is complete BS. Here are the actual facts. Not here's what we've been told or here's what we've been read about. Here are the actual facts. And I think it would be brilliant.
Right. And a lot of people, I've heard people go, well, is it only one? Are you only one issue? No, I have several issues. I mean, I'm not completely dense. I do know, well, I'm a gun owner, I learned those things as well. So I have several different issues, and immigration, I live in Texas. Of course, I see it and eat it and breathe it every day. So, there are other things, but this one, of course, it is a driving passion. It truly is, because it saves so many lives in so many different ways. And I'm going to say it. I'm just going to keep saying that. I don't care.
Well, I want to wish you the best, and I hope everyone starts paying attention and gets more involved. So I won't keep you. I'll let you get back to the show, but I want to drop in, say hi, Schell, and I want to say hi to Mike, even though that the pizza box that he sent me 2 years ago was empty. Customs said they had it confiscated, so I'll have to order another pizza from Mike.
Bill, thank you.
But you guys have a great night, and good to hear from
your messages that you send and your information you send out there is invaluable. I don't know if anybody tells you that enough, but I certainly don't tell you that enough, so I'm going to say it in front of everybody. It's invaluable. Thank you for what you do.
I'm glad some of it helps. You two have a great night, and I'm going to tune back into the show now live.
Bye, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Bill. I appreciate it.
Bye.
There's a story when he's talking about the pizza. The very first show, or one of the very first few episodes, I had opened up the phone lines. I was running amok. I had no clue what I was doing. I had this little tiny mixer, one screen. My PC was dying. And I thought the interview that I was going to have would last a decent long time. And there was the manager of a store. Done. And I'm sitting here on dead air going, and all of a sudden the phone line rang. I'm like, oh, thank God, somebody's calling. We get something. This little old lady's voice comes on. Can I order a pizza? And I'm sitting here going, you've got to be effing kidding me. And he went all the way through. Well, I would like a large, and it sounded like
it Bill?
It was Bill Tarling. It sounded like this old bitty lady that was ordering a pizza until he got to the point, and I would like extra VG. And it blew my mind. I sat here going, he goes, how you doing, Mike? It's Bill. God.
That's great.
Oh, it blew me out of the water when he did it. But thankfully, he helped me finish the other half hour of the show. But it's one of those things that I will never forget.
You should have just gone along with it, let them order, asked them how they wanted their crust.
Honest to God, for a few minutes, I'm thinking, there's this little old lady that called in and is ordering a pizza. She has no effing clue what she's doing. How do I handle this?
Oh, my gosh, that's greatness. I tell you what.
Oh, all the time he's doing this to me.
One for Bill.
and he is, what you mentioned, the vape distortion that he does and the information that he puts out is huge. Just huge.
It is huge. And I'll tell you why it's huge. Because and I don't know, from where I'm sitting, when you're talking about Texas is a big state, and we're having to work, we're having to watch cities and municipalities. Well, we were until this last amendment, but, cities and municipalities, and then you've got other states, and then you've got the FDA. And unfortunately, I'm involved in all of them. And so I'm kind of watching them all. But so many things slip by, or, you're running a kid to soccer practice or whatever, and you just completely miss whatever. I don't know how many times I've gone, wait, somebody will text me on Facebook, and I'm like, wait, what happened? What? Yep. And it's not that I'm not in the know. It's that you can only be in the know so much. And the landscape of our industry changes overnight. I mean, it can happen so fast Matter of fact, I'm speaking at the INS conference December 9th, and I'm just kind of giving them a view from the ground. And or that's kind of how I'm putting it. And she said, what are you going to talk about? I said, absolutely, I can't even begin to tell you what I'm going to talk about because it changes. And I'm not even going to start on those PowerPoint slides until a week before because it's changing so rapidly. How could you even start?
It would be difficult. It would be massively difficult. Bill brought up a really good point. That is one big cup.
Isn't it, though? This is my water jug. And yes, it's water. There's no vodka in here, so I don't want to hear anybody yapping about that. But I carry it around. It's so funny. Everybody makes fun of me about it.
Bill brought up a good point. Let's fast forward after the election. And you're sitting and listening to somebody talking about all this garbage and saying all of this crap. How would you turn around? You would have the ability, I know, because speakers are allowed, congressmen and congresswomen are allowed to get up and have like 90 seconds or 2 minutes to say whatever they want. How would you personally begin to refute that in your own fashion?
I learned a long time ago in business that women are very emotional. But when you're in corporate America, that doesn't sit well. So you absolutely, I have a strategic brain, and it thinks about what my goal is and how to combat that with facts. So regardless of anything, I immediately go into how can I literally tear apart their argument fact by fact. And that's generally how I do it in the state as well. Whenever I'm fighting a bill, I will try to take each section and argue it with fact. Because if I get emotional about it, well, then I'm a girl and I'm just emotional. And frankly, it's throwing emotion into the air. We can get very emotional about this, guys. And it's not girl or guy. It's a very passionate subject for all of us because every one of us began somewhere with this. And this is part of our history. So therefore, if you can take those and just put them into segments and compartmentalize your argument into facts, it lays it out very well. And that's exactly the way I would do it. And generally, I know most of the data and most of the science by heart now, so I can kind of take it and chip away.
Here's an odd question, and I'm full of them.
No, ask whatever.
Again, fast forward after the election, you're sitting in Congress. Would you run again?
Ask me that afterwards.
Okay.
No, I mean, you know what? I have never backed down from a challenge, and never have I ever known myself to back down from a challenge. So, and I see this as a challenge, not just for me, but for the whole industry. And I think I would take it on again if it were making progress. Now, let me tell you something. I also know, I know where my weaknesses are. So if I get in there and I can't do what I say, I'm going to back off. I'm going to let someone else, maybe I'll help James Jarvis or someone else and go, you need to do this, but in the back of my mind, I think I'm going to be really good at it. But if I find that I'm not, I'm very humble. No problem. I probably, this is probably not where, my puzzle piece needs to lie.
And that's where my brain is running to. Just on the hypothetical assumption, you're into your second term. You've been voted in a second term. What are the chances that you would actually begin, for lack of better words, a mentoring program? Because people are going to look at you, and I mean across the nation, people are going to look at you that you came out of nowhere. And now you're sitting in Congress, and you are a voice of reason, and you are paying attention, and you have the passion, and you get things done. Other people are going to say, hey, if that lady can do it, I can do it.
Good. Mentoring begins immediately in my mind. I've always believed that leadership, a good leader, is training other people to be better than themselves. And that is exactly the way I work with my employees. They can all tell you that I'm not a micromanager. I would rather push you from behind than be on top of you any day. So that is the way I lead. That's the way I've always tried to lead, is trying to make everybody better than me. And if that happens and they are better suited for it and we can get them in there faster, quicker, harder, done. I'll be their biggest cheerleader.
Because I'm seeing other people in different, and I wish that my brain could focus long enough to remember names and where they are. There's a gentleman that is running in Kentucky. There was a gentleman that's just won a local election that he went to, and he actually won that. These people are becoming elected to aspects of government, and they are from a major background of the vapor industry. So now there are people that are actively becoming very much similar in nature to you.
Good.
That
Good.
they say
we need more of them. If we can activate these individuals, especially because, I've found that a lot of the individuals that are so passionate in this industry, that their passion it evolves in other places as well, and that passion is the driving force. Mm-hmm. So we don't need people to go into Congress to keep their seat warm. We need them to go in there to be passionate about everything that is going on. So if you're not passionate, don't do it. It's just, it's not where we need you. We need people in there that are motivators, that are leaders, and that are listeners. I'm tired of talkers. We need listeners in there. Listen to your citizens. Listen to the people around you. What are they saying? Because no one could possibly know all the issues. If somebody comes up and says to me, "Hey, I need you to talk about, Houston's a big energy, area, big into oil and energy," and so I can't possibly know what their issues are with oil and gas and energy because I'm not in there. But I'm definitely open to listening and figuring out what their issues are so that I can present them in a manner that helps my community, my citizens. That's important.
And it's a big step going from doing things in your local state to be part of that national conversation.
Yeah.
That, okay, the chances that someone in California is going to be paying attention to what you're saying in Washington, D.C., because it directly affects them, that's huge. And Bruni said it very much in a chat. He said, what happens in America affects the world. Therefore,
that's right.
Schell will change the world.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears. Like I said, I'm either going to be, I'm going to do my best. And I only know how to give 110%. So that is, that's my only speed is 110 or 0.
Now I'm going to ask you an awkward question.
Okay. All right.
Democrat, Republican, Independent, undecided.
Republican, but I do have a little more liberal views on certain things. So immigration, I have a little bit more of a liberal view on that. I don't believe that everything is always just
black
wrong or right or left and wrong or left or right. I think that there are some good negotiating, lines there. So Republican, but I do have some liberal, conservative. We'll say conservative.
Conservative is a good word. And I know that people as you go along now and moving forward, and especially as everything starts to heat up after the beginning of this upcoming year, they're going to be saying, well, you should be Democrat, you should be Republican. It's a difficult row to work on. But I'm glad to hear that you're saying Republican with, some conservative values and things like that. And again, I will direct people back. I'm going to go back and show them the same thing here. I want you folks to go look at voteschell.com, and I'm going to show you again issues that she is tackling in immigration, in fiscal conservatism, in the Second Amendment. She's not backing down. She's not talking just about vaping, although we're talking about vaping a lot, simply because it's our passion, and it's vaping and the mic. You know, it's one of those things. But the things that she is showing you that she is worried about and wants to work on, huge, absolutely huge. And people need to see that as much as they possibly can.
No, thank you.
So when
my mic died, so hopefully this one's okay on the laptop. I don't know what happened to it. It died on me.
There is one other thing, and I'm going to go back to this real quick. In the upper right-hand corner, even if you are on the homepage of voteschell.com, is this wonderful big button. As soon as this comes back up, it's highlighted in red right now. It says donate.
Oh.
Now, I'm not one to bang a wagon and get all kinds of upset about things, but I will tell you what she's doing does take money. There is no doubt about it. If you would like to see Schell in Congress, she's going to need your physical help to be able to get out and knock on doors, make phone calls. She also is going to need a monetary help as well. So please, if you're out there and you're listening, you're watching, go to voteschell.com, click on donate. Okay? And if everybody were to do just a little bit, she would be able to have a war chest to take her all the way through to get elected. So it's a big, big kind of thing. She may not say much about it, but I will.
You know what? And that's the truth. I've never actually, regardless of speaking at the FDA or going to the Hill or whatever. I mean, of course, I'm a business owner, so I should pay for myself, but we've never used any kind of funds for that. This one's a big ticket. This one's a really big ticket. And honestly, that was my only reason why I didn't want to run, was because I was so worried about the financial burden of it. But you know what? We're going to get the votes. That's what I'm hanging my hat on, the fact that we can carry this vote, and that you guys want to see me, and everyone in my district want to see me in there, because together we can all move mountains. And I really believe that. So we're going to get the votes regardless.
Awesome. Here's another one. Somebody in your district comes walking up to you and they say, tell me 3 reasons why I should vote for you. What would you say to them?
3 reasons why they should vote for me. Number 1, I believe because I want to see it from their side. I want to actually bring their issues to light in Congress. Okay, not just mine, not just the ones that I am most passionate about, but I want to hear from them, and I want to change something that they need changed. I truly do. The second one is that I truly believe in we the people, and whatever it is that we need to push forward, I want us to do it together. In the fact that I'm huge on liberties, I'm huge on freedom. These are big factors for me. And I guess the third reason would be, I don't know. Third reason, I think I can build the relationships, and I think that on that hill, that's what's the most important. I mean, hey, I've seen them all do it. Hey, I'll sign your bill. I'll sign off on your bill if you'll sign off on mine. And I've heard even the opposite. If you don't vote for my bill, I'll make sure all the rest of yours die. I've even heard that. I'm not kidding. And I sat there and went, did she just say that? It was a woman. But I mean, I think that I have a very good ability to build relationships because I am trustworthy. And I think that, and what I say, when I say it, I'm going to do it. I do it. And I mean it. And so I think those relationships are the most important. So good old boy or no good old boy network, I think I'm going to do just fine in there. And I think that's important. Building those relationships is very important because I can't get anything passed if I don't have their support. So I need their relationship and I need their friendship in order to get anything passed.
Yeah, that's very, very important. Here's one from way out of the left side. What are your feelings about pork barrel spending? As in, I've got a bill that I want to pass. You need new highways over in your state, so I'll get money for you if you sign my bill. We'll get your roads, and you need something over there. So there's I don't know. We'll put another $20 million in here for you over there. I'll buy your vote. What do you think about all of that?
I think it happens all the time. I think it happens all the time. If I don't believe in what, and I'm big on this, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Thank you.
If I don't believe in what they're trying to sell me, fine, don't sign off on my bill, but I'm not touching yours. If you don't believe in my cause and you're not listening to me and hearing what I say, and I'm showing you all the data, I'm showing you all of the information that you need to know. If you're still not buying, and the only reason that you're going to vote on my bill is if I help you with this one, which I don't believe in, then we're done talking.
Another odd question. I'm telling you, I'm full of them. Tomorrow night, just so everybody knows, tomorrow night, Schell is also going to be on the Smoke Free Radio Network, the Sons of Liberty with Patrick Reif. And I believe Kevin Crowley is also going to be on there. I don't know if Fig is there, if he's out for the evening. I truly don't know. But she's going to be on that show as well. And I know that they're going to hammer you with a lot of questions. So I'm sticking out here.
I'm hoping I can answer them.
Here's one. Term limits. Ted Cruz.
There should definitely be term limits. I will just answer that right now. We need new people. We need it moving. And believe me, I get it that, and their stance on it is that, you know what, we sit in here, when we put somebody in new, it shakes up the system. We all know how. No, sometimes it means that everybody gets complacent and everybody gets a little bit too comfortable and things don't move, because we all know that in Washington, things move very slowly. They do. And I'm not really a slow person. So I'm going to be kind of pushing things to move a little faster.
It is the one thing. Go ahead.
No, so I think that term limits should be there. We need new blood.
Yep.
We need things moving.
It's the one thing that you see floating around on Facebook. It pops up in conversations often when they say, how does a congressperson that is making $109,000 a year become a multimillionaire as a public servant?
They're getting insider trader information. And well, now I'm assuming they're getting insider trader information. Again, right is right, wrong is wrong. I was raised by very strict, very Christian grandparents, and that doesn't leave my blood at any point. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Period.
And that's the one thing, because term limits would stop a lot of things. They might cause some other issues in short term, but we can iron some of those out. But when you have a career politician, I'm not going to name any names, when you have this career politician that has never held any job outside of politics and wants to run our nation, I have an issue with that.
True. I mean, true. I honestly think there's some of them that want to go in there and run politics that, I'll be honest with you. A lot of them, some of them just have money. They just have money and they're able to do it because it takes a lot of money to run. I think the lady that there was a lady here in my district that ran, she's running again. She paid $6 million, I think, last session to run and lost. So, they have to be in there for a certain amount of period. And I think that a certain amount of period, it won't shake up the foundation too much to put a new person in there ever so often. I mean, I'm thinking, 5, 6 years. You know, that's enough to where we can keep this rolling, keep this new blood going in there. Because frankly, I've always said this, 10 heads are better than one, but man, when you get in there and you just get used to the same old thing, they can become complacent. And maybe those issues that used to be really big are not so big anymore, you know, because now they're here. And that's not good. It's not good.
No. I'm going to ask you one more question before we wrap up for the evening, because we've already hit our hour. Time goes by so quick. If somebody came to you and said, let's talk about lobbyists and money that they throw in a congressional whatever, how would you respond to that? Or where would you guide? Lobbyist? Yeah, people that lobbyists, they bring, hi, I'm going to put $20,000 into your campaign fund anonymously via another company, and here's $14 million. Vote our way.
I don't agree with buying anyone at all, whether it is through voter trade, trading votes, whether or backing up someone else's bill that you don't agree in, or money. Right is right, wrong is wrong. That is just, I'm sorry, that's just all there is to it. And I have to sleep at night, and I have a huge conscience. So when I think of something and I make decisions, I do not make them in a bubble, and I don't make them without all the facts. I want to know all the facts. I'm a big why person. Why? And so I want to find out why. And then when I find that out, then I can make that decision. And I want to make a decision that I can go to sleep at night that affects my children and your grandchildren and on, that I can live with and you can live with too. So money, votes, whatever. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
See, and that's a perfect way to wrap this up, because it is so much on point to be able to have people listen to that and say, here's somebody with some common sense for a change, instead of this beltway mentality that everybody seems to have right now.
Well, I think everybody, and that's the thing that I found out with politicians, is that they're so busy going out there telling everybody they know everything and what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. I'm going to sit there and go, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what your issue is, but by golly, I'm ready to learn. But understand, I'm going to learn it from the other side too. I know what I don't know. So come tell me about your issue. How can I help you while I'm there? And I'm going to learn it from all sides. And then we're going to sit and talk about it and see what the great outcome is for that. And I think that's the way to approach it in anything, even in business, because you can't move mountains if you don't know where you're moving it to or where it's coming from. Anything, you've got to figure that out.
And it's one of the biggest things. It seems to be lacking so often in what people see and hear coming out of politics right now. It's just unbelievable.
Because we want them to know the answer. We love it when they get up there and they start talking and they've got all the answers, or we think they've got all the answers, when somebody's really writing it for them. They don't have all the answers, and neither do I. But I'm going to tell you I don't, and come sit down and tell me how we can fix this.
Schell, thank you so much for being on the show this evening. It has been a blast. I love chatting with you and listening to what you're saying, because if people stop and listen to what is going on, what you're saying, and why,
well, good.
It's got to be a hands down. It's got to be a hands down. Yeah, they're going to vote for you.
Yay, I hope so. I hope I can get in there and make a difference.
Oh, I'm sure that you're going to. Now, we're going to keep abreast of some of these things. We're going to keep touching base every couple of months, you and I, and seeing how things are going and where they're going and what's going on.
Sounds good.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
Oh, trust me, my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. I was off the air for a while, and it's like, we need to talk.
Yes, I enjoyed it too, immensely.
For everybody that is in the chat rooms, you have been listening to Schell Hammel. And once again, if you will, please go to voteschell.com. Check out her issues that she's going to be doing, and then hit that donate button in the upper right-hand side. She's going to need help. That way she's not funding this all by herself, and she needs to have the money to be able to do what she wants to accomplish. For everybody that is going to be listening on the podcast side of this here in a little while, again, if you want, go check her out. She is everywhere on multiple platforms doing advocacy and very soon ramping up to hit for Congress.
Oh, Mike, we have to say good luck to everybody who's having this meeting tomorrow. That's very important. And I mean, did you know about the meeting tomorrow with Trump? There's leaders and everything. So I'm sorry, I have to put that plug in that everybody send up prayers and good vibes for all of the individuals that are representing us tomorrow, because that's huge. And you know, I didn't want to forget them because that's huge. Sorry.
Awesome. Nope. Good call. I was kind of steering away from that, but it's a good call. It is important for people to know there are people that are watching out for our best interest.
Absolutely.
All right, Schell, until next time, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. For everybody that's watching in the show, check us out on Facebook at Vaping in the Mic. You can go to Vaping Mic on YouTube. We're doing this on Twitter as well, but I know Twitter expires in 24 hours. But please, stop and check us out. All of this by the Smoke Free Radio Network. And until next time, I hope everybody has a great night.
Bye, guys.